Welcome to Style Masterclass, the podcast that teaches women to look stylish and feel confident so that they can show up ready to conquer and slay no matter what size they are. I'm your host, Miss J. You ready?
Started giggling.
So we've decided to start the episode giggling, and we're not going to edit that out.
No.
So Julianne, whom I love, my podcast guy, please don't edit this out. We are doing this on purpose. I am so excited to bring to you today part of our ongoing special series, Shit My Mama Said, with my dear friend, Maria Victoria. And
Hola.
she's going to tell us all the things, and we're just going to chat. But we were laughing already and talking about Beetlejuice underwear, granny panties, organic cotton.
Very important.
And then we realized we probably should just start recording.
Right?
Hi, friend. Tell the people who you are.
Hi. My real name is Maria Victoria Albina Cordero. I go by Victoria in the world, but I'm working to come back to Maria Victoria. But my name, you can find me on the interwebs at Victoria Albina. I am a functional medicine nurse practitioner, a somatic master certified life coach, and host of the Feminist Wellness Podcast. And my passion is helping humans socialized as women to come back into their bodies through nervous system-based somatic practices so they can overcome codependency, perfectionism, and people-pleasing and return to their authentic self.
So, y'all, I have to say, because I've seen my friend coach, it's like magic. It's like magic. She coached me the other day, and we're like, it was so beautiful, and I felt so buoyed. And I'm so excited for you to hear from her today, her wisdom. And as always, we're just going to start these episodes like we normally do, and then we'll see where the conversation takes us. So tell us a piece of style, beauty, or confidence advice that you got when you were younger.
Yeah. So I think I will cite one of my best friends growing up, Timmy Paul Ryan. Timmy Paul later went on to be Mother Superior, I believe, of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence in San Francisco, which is an order of drag nuns.
Oh my God, I need more information. Tell me everything.
Right? They're drag nuns. They're amazing. And he actually invited me to join the sisterhood as a faux queen, which is a cis woman in drag. Life was busy. I was at UCSF and in a P school. I didn't pursue it, but had I stayed in San Francisco, I definitely would have. And they do amazing charity work. They were a big part of supporting the community early in HIV/AIDS, and they do hospice work and volunteer work and are fabulous drag nuns. How amazing is that?
That is seriously the coolest thing I've ever heard, especially since I learned about feminism from nuns, because the sisters who ran the college I went to are actually really progressive nuns.
Oh, cool.
Religious Sacred Heart of Mary, who believed in women's education from back in the day. So I didn't know we had this fabulous nun collection.
Yeah.
This connection.
Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence.
Okay, so I'm looking that up for sure. Everyone definitely we will leave a link in the show notes for you because I know you all are way curious like I am. So what was this advice that your bestie gave you?
Ay, qué risa. Can we get through this episode or are we just going to giggle the whole time? It's just an entire half hour of us giggling. Ay, carajo. Yeah. So Timmy's advice was, one of the first things that comes to mind, feel shitty, look pretty, which I love.
I seriously love that so much.
Right? He was like, if you're in a bad mood, just look glamorous, whatever that means to you, and allow the transformation of self to come through the transformation of external appearance, right? Putting on the drag of gratitude and joy.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And it's something similar to especially at the beginning of the pandemic, I was talking about almost clothing and doing your makeup or whatever, your beauty care, whatever that means to you. Getting dressed up was almost like an active sort of resistance. It was like putting on your armor to face the world because you all know, we all feel shitty sometimes, but this is a way to kind of pull yourself out. And I think it's an underrated way. And it's also a very inexpensive way that we sometimes forget about.
Yeah. I mean, I think what can happen, so I'm a wicked nervous system nerd, right? So we go into a place where we're feeling depressed, we're feeling worried, we're feeling anxious, right? We're not in the safe and social part of our nervous system. And the nervous system sort of prompts us to forget who we are in a way. Like that's what happens when we get activated in our nervous system. We forget, I am here now. I am me now. I am this complex human with all of these thoughts and feelings, all these emotions, all these sensations in my body. Who I am right now is I am sad. I'm the sad rock in the Zoloft commercial at the back of the cave. And that's just the entirety of my personality. And so I think this invitation, feel shitty, look pretty, is an opportunity to really, if I'm going to take an internal family systems approach, which I'm always going to say that sad is one part of me. It's not the whole of me. And there is a part of me that likes to step into, let's keep calling it gratitude drag, because I said it.
Because why not? Let's go with
right?
it.
Like that's amazing. And it's like this way to pause and to bring ourselves back into presence, right? Because you can make getting dressed up this, and I don't mean dressed up, well, I mean, it could be a ball gown, but like fixing yourself up, right? Like you could make it into a mindfulness practice, right? Like do a sugar scrub in the shower slowly, connect with your body, come back into presence with the fact that you have arms and legs if you have those. And like that, what? That's huge. Like what a gift. Right. And so it can help you to reconnect with the part of yourself that knows that you are more than sadness, more than worry, more than frustration, more than anger, more than whatever is feeling like a challenging emotion in that moment.
I love that you said that, because I teach some of my clients, and there's a podcast episode that's called Ritual Disrobing.
Ooh.
And it's like, you've had a day, and we all have had those days, or just even a normal day. But getting into the practice of not just like flinging off your clothes and rushing to the next thing, or throwing yourself in bed or in front of another screen, like taking your time to like gently take off the garments, like remove the bra slowly, feel the relief of your breasts, like being able to like fall like with gravity, like those little things add up for you to find your way back to yourself. And this is just an invitation for you all to try it. So if you're having a day, you're having a moment, and let's say you haven't done any form of self-care, any form of getting ready, whether it's just washing your face, changing into fresh jammies, whatever that is for you, friend, like pause this episode or take us with you wherever you're going to go get ready, slow this train down and find your way back to yourself with just those teeny little things. Oh, I just love that.
It's the cornerstone of somatics or body-based practices, right?
Tell me more about that, because we hear the word somatic, and I don't know that everyone has the same understanding. So we have an expert here. I would love for you to tell me, like, what does that practically mean?
Yeah. So we'll start with a definition, because nerds love a definition. So the word soma, it comes from the Greek and means body. And so I recently heard somatics defined as the return to the body in its wholeness, which I find so delicious.
Yeah, me too.
Right. So when we think about the forces of white settler colonialism, the patriarchy, late stage capitalism, these forces demand that we detach from our bodies, that we leave ourselves, that we leave presence in order to function within them. And I'm coaching folks whose mindset tends towards codependent, perfectionist, and people-pleasing thinking, which are habits and not labels in my world. And those two are states of being that lead us to step out of our authentic self and instead to move it through the world in a way that seeks validation, praise, an outward proving of our worth and value as humans instead of knowing it within ourselves. So from these ways of living, we have detached from our body. Often because it was smarter to in childhood, particularly if our bodies or our households were the site of stress, distress, or trauma. We've detached from our bodies because of however we're experiencing these intersecting systems of oppression. We've detached from our bodies because that's what was modeled for us in our family, in our culture, in our socialization. And so somatics is the process and the practice of returning back to our bodies so we can re-engage with their wholeness and can tap into the deep and profound wisdom that lives within our bodies, honoring that our brains are the site of our socialization, right? We talk about this as coaches all the time. We think what we think, we believe what we believe because we've been taught to think that way. But the body knows differently, right? The body holds that deepest wisdom. The wisdom in my worldview that comes from Pachamama, from our Earth Mother, that comes from nature, that is inherent and inborn within us. And when we can return to the body as the site and the source of wisdom, we can learn what the what is under our habitual thinking and can truly change our lives for the long haul, right? Because when you feed a positive affirmation, a mantra, a new thought into a system, when the body isn't believing it, that's the thought work you're going to do forever. That's that thought that you're like, I can't shake it. I've been coached on this by 27 people and it won't leave. It won't change because the nervous system believes that thought. The nervous system is not in a state where that thought is changeable. So we have to come back to the body, the nervous system, our inner children to do that initial groundwork of getting into right relationship with ourselves so we can change our thoughts, so we can change the world.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, hell yes. Let's go. Let's go right now. I'm in a mission. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
But I love that you said that. So I come from a Christian tradition. So one of the things I think sometimes, like even within the Christian tradition, people forget is there's a scripture that's really powerful, but we somehow lose sight of it. And part of all of the other dogma that gets laced over everything is like, I knew you in your mother's womb. I formed your inward parts. Like you are wonderfully made. And we, like, I even just got children now. Like we forgot that. We were born into that worthiness. We were born into that miraculous. And we forget that along the way. And I think for the people I coach, my way to help them find their way back to them is through clothing. Like, how have you been getting dressed? How have you been caring for yourself or not? But I think there are many roads. Like, what do you see most often in your clients when they come to you? And like, what are the signs or things that we can look for that we're not living in that miracle that is us, so to speak?
Well, I think we live from the habitual scripts we were taught, right? Like staying in codependent ways of thinking instead of shifting into interdependent ways of thinking, believing, behaving, feeling, right? Where codependency, again, is, I would define it as chronically and habitually sourcing our wellness, worth, and validation from everyone and everything outside of ourselves instead of from within, right? And it's within that you find the Godhead, right? That where you find God within your tradition and I find Pacha within mine. Same, no? Pero. Right. Call it the universe, call it unicorns in the sky, call it biology, right? Like science is amazing. What are you talking about? You have mitochondria, you have a Golgi apparatus? Are you kidding me? You're doing the Krebs cycle right now? What are you doing with 23 ATP? Like, that's amazing.
So for my science doctor nerds who like, come back to us. We love you. Come back to us, right?
Oh, I think they just clicked right in. They're like, oh, right, ATP. How can I not dress an animal doing right? Like doing the Krebs cycle and the electron transfer chain. How can I not dress that magnificently? It is a magnificent animal.
We are magical, weird little creatures.
Right? Whoa. Seriously. Right? So that is how I define codependent thinking. And then interdependence is a way of relating based in right relationship in which we live from an ethos of mutuality and reciprocity that honors each member of that community, that dyad, that triad's autonomy as an individual and recognizes that as human mammals, our nervous systems are wired for connection. We need each other. And then politically, I'll add to that, we need the collective. We need to be community minded.
Which I think is, I mean, I find this sometimes, and it's so interesting when I find that I am like totally in the zone in terms of creativity and like the ideas are coming fast and swift and they're amazing, is when I stop isolating. Oof. And when I reach outside. Yeah. Now, this is different than polling people for their opinions to validate what I'm thinking of, right? Yeah. And I've totally fallen into that trap. I'm a high achiever, just like the rest of y'all who listen to the podcast. I'm used to polling people. Do you like this idea? Are you going to be my friend? Will you still like me after I execute on this idea? Yeah. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. But when I stop isolating And like, I have to figure this out on my own. I have to persevere and push, because that was what was modeled for me. I mean, Mom, I know you listen to this podcast, so shout out to my mama.
Hey.
Who I will call and she'll give me a rundown of her to-do list for the day.
Yeah.
Because that's the paradigm she lived in. Her mom was the same way. And I think it's beautiful. And Mom, I love you and I appreciate that that's part of me. But because I think that way, sometimes I have a tendency to really isolate myself. And when I reach out to Maria Victoria, or our friend Sarah, or anybody in our circle, and I'm like, oh, that's right, then the ideas come and they're sweet. And like, I'm kinder to myself because I'm kinder to my sisters and my like chosen sisters. Like, so I love talking about this here. And this is why we have this special series, y'all, so that we can kind of normalize all of this for you.
For sure. Yeah, we need each other. And that's a beautiful thing. And a part of this somatic work and the thought work that I do with my clients is about coming into a deep connection with intuition and discernment so that you know in your body, am I doing the former that you talked about, the like reaching out, polling, like, is it good enough? Will you love me? Am I okay? Is everything okay? Am I a good person if I do this thing? Versus, hey, and I've called you and been like, hey, Judah, I want to do a thing and I love you and I appreciate you and I respect you. I'd love your opinion, right? And that comes from that place of knowing I have my own back in my body, in my mind, in my spirit. So if you're like, no, Maria Victoria, that's a terrible idea, right? I will take it into consideration and I will honor my truth. That's interdependence, right? You are an autonomous animal with your opinion, as am I. I value you. You value me. Let's meet, but not entwine, not enmesh. Yeah.
And let's pause on enmeshment because I see this so commonly in my clients who are like, so I heard this thing from my mom or my auntie or my grandma when I was younger. And it's almost like grandma, mama, auntie are coming with them. They're in their 50s or in their 60s, and they're still in the dressing room with them, getting ready with them, telling them well-meaning, but not very nice things sometimes.
Yep.
And the intuition's gone. Like they don't even trust their own opinion when it comes to whether something's physically comfortable in their own bodies. Like, how do we disentangle? I don't know a better word, so we'll just say disentangle.
Yeah, I like the word unblend.
Oh, okay. I like that one.
I don't know that that's actually English, but we can roll with it anyway. We'll be postmodern, make shit up. Yeah, because what that helps me, the visual of it as a very visual animal, is that we have blended our sense of self with someone else's sense of self, right? It's like a Venn diagram. And what we can do is pull back and unblend from them. So their opinion gets to be theirs and ours gets to be ours. Now, what can be tricky is if we've spent a lifetime putting everyone ahead of us, valuing everyone's opinion over our own, outsourcing our sense of self, our sense of wellness, right? If we've spent a lifetime giving that away because it was modeled for us, no shame or blame or guilt around here, right? Pero, if that's what we've always done, it is painstaking, right? The process to reclaim that. And I would go with the low-hanging fruit, with the thing that's easiest from a nervous system standpoint. So if getting dressed is really activating for you, if it makes you really anxious, if it's a stressful thing, if deciding what car to buy, if, like whatever your things are that are like, oh, okay, I can hear other people's voices. This is much. I'm getting worked up or I'm shutting down. Do not start there. Start with your morning cup of coffee. Let's say you're going to have coffee in the morning. You know it. You love it. It's your cosa. You're going to do it. Ask yourself before you have it if you want it. Right?
Oh, I love that.
You see, we're starting with the thing because you know what you want. Right? So get that yes from your body. When you feel a full bladder and you're like, okay, I need to pee, ask your body, baby, do you want to pee? You know that yes is coming from your physiology, from your body, right? If you feel thirst, your thirst sensors got activated, ask your body, baby, do you want a drink of water? My love, my darling, perfect body? You know the answer, right? So you can start to connect the felt sensation of a bodily yes with the mental yes. You see what we're doing?
Yeah, I love that because it's so cool because I teach similar things, but I like don't have. I'm just like, okay, I call it before your feet hit the floor. Like before your feet hit the floor in the morning, I just want you to check in with like, is anything physically uncomfortable? Are your pajamas twisted? Do your sheets feel rough? Like we're just gonna check in with your like sensations. Or I tell my clients like, if you want to start like trusting your own opinion about your clothes, like let's start with like next time somebody asks you where do you want to eat, you actually tell them the truth.
Oof. Right. But yes. And my clients and me, when I was deep in my codependent thinking, I didn't know where I wanted to eat. Right. Because the voice of, well, they really want Mexican. They really want pizza. They really want Thai. They really want a steak. Like that voice in my head was so loud.
Yeah.
Right. It was like 99% prioritize the other. And what I got to do is to really begin to shift that and to go searching for that 1% that's like, I'm Argentine, so steak always, right? Right? While someone else is, do you want a Chinese steak? Always steak. Always. Right? But I didn't, it's always amazing.
I love that we're whispering.
Oh yeah, we have to whisper because it's too amazing. We might explode the internet. Do you know, this is some immigrante shit. I bought half a cow last year and just bought a chest freezer for my basement.
Because why not?
A, number one, why not? B, number two, it's cheaper per pound. I mean, then also like the political, I'm supporting a local grass-fed organic farmer, meow, meow, meow. But also I did have shit my mama said. My mama would literally say, lo tengo para cuando viene el dictador. Right? Carajo. Right? And let me translate. I have it for when the dictator comes. Talk about scarcity thinking at a national scale, or also just maybe the entire global South.
It's so contrasted with like the very like, and I'm just going to say white, but like white Anglo-Saxon peeps are like, well, in case the queen comes, we have to have like the nice dishes or like the nice food, right? If the queen comes, and we're like totally different mindset.
Right? We need beans, we need beef, we need soap, because my parents grew up under embargo, right? Argentina was under dictatorship and embargo. And so my mom, like, not like hoards, that's a serious diagnostic word, but has, let's call it an impressive collection of certain key things like she couldn't find in Argentina when she was a kid. Toothpaste, Dove soap. She's got like 12 of them. With like the little lid taken, like the papelito taken off the top so they can breathe. I don't know what that means.
I love that so much.
Right? Cans of tomatoes. Like it's like a couple few things that she's just got some shelves of and you're not supposed to touch them. They're not actually for eating.
They're in case the dictator comes. Like for
when
real.
The dictator comes. I mean, the last hot minute in the US politics, she wasn't that far off, pero.
Girl.
Yeah, girl. But anyway, how did I go to there? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
No, stating what you want. Like if someone asks you what you want, right. I'll direct this back. I got it. I got it.
God, you're such a pro. Ay, Dios. Stating what you want, you need to know what you want first. And it is a process to get to there. You're not wrong or broken or bad. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that needs fixing if you don't know what you want. I had no idea what I wanted. No idea what I wanted.
And I love that so we're starting with things we actually know we want.
Yes.
So if it's
Start
like
with the yes.
Our coffee, our Starbucks, pumpkin, everything. Hello, right here. I'm that girl.
It is not October yet. We are not allowed to say the word. Do you drink pumpkin all year round?
Okay, so I totally will confess, I do keep cans of pumpkin. Your mom would appreciate this.
She would.
I keep cans of pumpkin. And if I get a hankering, which I did last month to make pumpkin bread, and it was the middle of July, I'll make pumpkin bread in July. My house smelled like a fall harvest. It was amazing.
I love that. And I appreciate that because you did live here on the East Coast in New York where the tundra happens.
Yes.
Very soon after the pumpkins.
Yes.
Yeah. I hear pumpkin and my brain goes to snowed in for 3 days with no power, but I get it. You're in California. It's a different experience.
Yeah. I'm thinking more like Westchester County in New York, like leaf peeping, good smells.
So good.
Yeah, that vibe.
I love that. Yeah, so owning what you want, if it's pumpkin in July and you're not broken if you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
There's no problem here. And there's some easy steps you can take. But easy to say, can be challenging to move through, but with peace and love and grace, you can start to figure out what you actually want.
Yeah, I love that. So we have gone all the places, but I just love it. And we're going to have you on again because I think the people need to hear from you some more. But tell us like how this works in your practice with the people that you serve and like kind of give us an overview of how that works for you guys.
How somatics works?
How somatics works. Like, I know a lot of people probably have heard like somatic coach, or maybe you've heard about like the special spa where they do somatics and you have no idea what that means. So how do you serve your people with this tool?
So we start by learning about the nervous system, learning what's called polyvagal theory, which is a way to understand the nervous system, because your nervous system is happening automatically under the level of your consciousness. And so you're either getting activated into what's called sympathetic, which is fight or flight, or you're dropping down into dorsal, which is the checked out, disconnected, glazed over, wait, what kind of state of being? And what we do is we learn how to map our own nervous systems. And I mean a literal mapping. And this is the question we use, or the sentence stem rather. When I am in sympathetic, I am blank and the world is blank, right? I am scared and the world is overwhelming. I am worried and the world is demanding. I am too much and the world is disrespectful. And we start there by coming to understand what it feels like to be in our bodies in different nervous system states. So we can create this map that then connects us back to thought work and the cognition. Because here's the thing that's really vital to know. Story follows state, which means, this is a common saying in the nervous system world, the state of your nervous system dictates the kinds of thoughts that are available to you. So I think of it like 3 card catalogs, right? Remember those old card catalogs in the library? If you are in sympathetic, then your brain has access to thoughts like, I am overwhelmed and the world is terrible. You have access only to that T-line, to those kinds of thoughts. Meanwhile, if you're in dorsal, in collapse, in checked out, in disconnected, you may only have access to thoughts like, I am a loser and the world is unkind. I am checked out and the world is demanding. And then in the middle between those two states is ventral vagal. That is the safe and social part of the nervous system where we are connected and present in ourselves. We are present with the world. We can be interdependent. We know what we want. We can make decisions for ourselves and our communities and the people we love. We have access to cognition. We think goodly. Our digestion works well. Our thyroid works well. Our liver works well. We can poop like a champion. We have clockwork periods, right? Like everything works optimally in ventral vagal.
Okay. And I know some of y'all right now were like, yes. What? Yes. In terms of you heard the poop thing and you were all on board. You heard the period thing. You were all on board.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. And so what happens, stress, distress, and trauma leads us to leave ventral vagal and find a sort of home away from home in either being anxious, worked up, worried, stressed out, angry, annoyed, irritated, ready to fight, ready to flight, and sympathetic. That becomes our steady state. If we go to there enough, particularly ages 0 to 7, when the nervous system is forming. So too, that dorsal checked out, I'm fine. It's okay. We can do whatever you want. I don't care, but much slower, right? Like whatever you want, that's fine. My opinion doesn't matter here, right? If that's what we learn in childhood or what's modeled for us, then being in that dorsal checkout, not present in our bodies, becomes our steady state. And so what we do when we map our nervous system is we start to see, where does our body tend to go under stress, right? If your boss texts, do you get anxious or do you go to, fuck, he's going to fire me? Oh, I've done nothing wrong and have amazing performance reviews. Everything's ruined.
I totally believe that right before I made partner. When they called me into a meeting, I was like, I'm getting fired. Fired. And I even told my boss, I was like, hey, if you're going to fire me, you just let me know. And he's like, we're about to make you partner. What is wrong with you? And we're just like, oh, oops. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like totally, right? So some of you completely can relate to this.
Totally. And what's really important is to remember that happens in split second, automatically your body goes to there when it is an unsupervised toddler. And so the work we do in my program is to become our own most loving inner guardian. I no longer use the term inner parent because that can be kind of activating for folks, and why bother, right? Our inner guardian that cares for us, that takes care of us, that when we get worked up or we go to collapse, we can know what that somatic or felt experience of that is. And we can be our own best advocate. We can have that conversation with self where it's like, I feel you. You're worked up. There's all this activation energy in you as a body. You need to move. You need to get this energy out. Let's go for a walk. Let's do a somatic movement practice. Let's get this out and through. Attend to the body first because story follows state in the nervous system. And then let's do some thought work. Then let's come back to the cognitive mind when it's back online. Because you don't have access to creativity or complex thinking in either non-ventral state, right? When you're fight or flighting or collapsed and freeze. So we learn how to bring ourselves back into that safe and social part of our nervous system with ourselves and then with the world. And from there, we're unstoppable, right? We can create any result we want when the nervous system is aligned and our thoughts are aligned from that aligned nervous system.
Yeah, I think it's such powerful work that you do. It's so incredible. So tell us like the best way to find you and to hear more about what you teach, how you teach, give us all the deets.
All the deets. Yeah. So if you head on over to victoriaalbina.com/Miss J, there's a special surprise right there waiting for you.
I love surprises.
So you can download a set of meditations, an orienting nervous system exercise, boundaries meditation, inner child meditation. It's a glorious suite of treats for free, just for your listeners, because come on, they're the best ever.
Oh, I love you. Thank you, friend. Y'all, I'm going to go download that right now. Woo! You go download it right now. And we'll put a link in the show notes.
For sure.
In our email newsletter, Glam Gal Gazette. All of you will get access to those goodies. We'll make sure we leave links because we want to make sure y'all get in on this goodness. Isn't that so great? Sweet of you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. You can follow me on the gram. I give good gram over at Victoria Albina Wellness. You like that?
I like that.
I give good gram.
I'm going to use that. I like it.
You should. It's a good one. I'm just speaking my truth. So as inspired by Timmy Paul Ryan, Sister of Perpetual Indulgence, who said, always speak your truth.
Oh my God.
Every 2 seconds.
Timmy Paul Ryan.
The most amazing person ever.
I haven't met you yet. I'm already in love.
So amazing. I love that human so much.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Where else can you find me? My show is called Feminist Wellness. It's for humans of all genders. It is a fabulous program, if I do say so myself, and that's free in all of the places. You can work with me as part of my 6-month program, Anchored, victoriaalbina.com/anchored. And I do lots of free webinars and workshops, low-cost workshops where I talk about polyvagal theory of the nervous system, somatics, breath work, all sorts.
Yeah. So if you are kind of like, this is the first time you're hearing about any of this, seriously, next time she has a workshop, you want to get in on that because she really breaks it down so that when you hear it out in the ether, you have an understanding what the hell people are saying, which, hello, I struggle with that. So this is so good.
Oh, thank you. It's so important that we get good nervous system education because, again, the forces that be don't want us to know what's going on in our bodies. They want us disconnected from our bodies. And I've spent a very long time studying the human body and the nervous system, and having accurate science is super important.
I love that. And I'm going to have you back on at some point because we didn't even touch menstrual cycles today.
Oh, we could do that.
And I feel like you told me something about female health checkups. Like there's so much. And y'all, she got me the right vitamins because your girl was taking interesting things in the gummy form. So we will have you back, my friend.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Thank you. All right, y'all. We love you. There will be links in the show notes in the Glam Gal Gazette. Thank you so much, friend. We out.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. To learn more about how to work with me, go to judithgaton.com. click on the Start Here button to get access to my free personal style class. I give you a quick style win, a confidence boost, and you walk away with the tools to start getting stylish. Who doesn't love that? See you there. Miss J out.